Yo, it's Zero, and this is part 1 of a new series that I'll try to bring to my channel. What if Deku had Liebe, and by extension, a 5-clover grimoire? If you guys want me to continue this series in the future parts, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. With that being said, all my links to my intro music and my Discord and social media are down below in the description as well. And without any more wait at all, let's get started.
Let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick. I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how I rock.
So, to make this happen, I want to change Midoriya's backstory a lot here actually. Months after the birth of her firstborn son, pro-hero Inko Midoriya was being chased down by a strange man. She had thought she had managed to escape him, and she would go home. Unknowingly to her, this man was already within her home, and as she walked in, she saw her babysitter dead on the floor while this man was holding her baby. She wanted to move, but she couldn't. It was too much of a risk right now. This strange man, who we all knew is All For One, would place his hand on the head of Midoriya, changing his quirk. Only seconds after this was done, a necklace appeared around the small baby with a glowing book as its pendant. All For One then noticed that the child was no longer in his possession, so using her quirk, she was able to grab her son and she ran out of the front door. So, the chase begins once again, I see. Inko jumped from roof to roof as fast as she could, and then she saw a small orphanage within her city. Quickly, she jumped to the ground and she left her son at the front steps, leaving only a note with his first name. Then, she led her pursuer, All For One, far away from this area as she could, as this is where she would be killed. But in her final moments, she decided to declare that one day her son would defeat All For One. Skipping ahead about 6 years, when Izuku was at school, he was being bullied for being an orphan. The main person who was doing so was a blonde kid named Bakugo who had always picked on him. This time though, Bakugo wanted to take it to another level. Hey guys, let's take away the one thing that this orphan has. Hey nerd, hand over the necklace. No, I can't. It's mine. I was told that my mother left it for me by my friends at the orphanage. You idiot. Orphans don't have mothers. That's why they're orphans. Tears then began to shed on his face while looking up at Bakugo, who was getting closer and closer. The blonde pushes him to the ground and grabs the necklace. No, please stop. Don't take it. It's all I have. Please, Bakugo. Whatever. It's gonna be mine now. As he pulls harder, it won't come off of his neck or snap for some reason. So he decides to grab the book-like pendant instead. As he grips it, well, a red aura appears around the book and it pushes Bakugo away. Izuku then gets the random strength to stand up, and the book that was around his neck vanishes as a larger version of it would appear in front of him, as the 5 clovers will be revealed as the red aura glows around him. And then, something calls to him. Something calls to Izuku, who then places his hand through the book, going inside of it. As he pulls his hand out and raises it into the sky, a small sword would appear, and the transformation would begin. On his right side, darkness begins spreading, covering his arm completely, and then his eye on that side would turn red as well, along with horns and wings. A strange aura is then emitted from his body, causing Bakugo to back away even further away from him. What are you? You're a demon! As Izuku begins to step closer and closer to Bakugo, the teacher runs out just in time to save him and stop Izuku, who would be sent home shortly after. And since this was his first time that he actually used his quirk, well, he would be taken to the quirk doctor for an analysis of it, as it was pretty strange. After running a couple tests, the doctor comes back to Izuku's legal guardian, Terra, and then explains to her, well, his quirk is actually quite special. It can increase all of his physical stats, and it can also negate other quirks. Well, the ones that we tested so far. The name we've classified it as is negation. However, with the appearance of a demon, we'd also like to use that as a nickname for it as well. 6 years then go by as Izuku continues to train with only one goal in mind. Since the orphanage he lived in, well, it's low on money now, he wants to become a pro hero to help his adopted family, financially that is. We then start at his last year of junior high. As the teacher walks into the classroom, it's silent, as he then speaks to break the silence. Since it's your last year here, you all need to start thinking about your future and what you want to become. Oh, who am I kidding? You all want to become pro heroes, don't you? The class then erupts in enjoyment and excitement, but Izuku stayed silent until someone had spoken out against all of this. It was Bakugo. Well, Teach, you would be right, but someone in this room is gonna end up a villain. Bakugo then points at Izuku. Akuma means devil, and that's your nickname, so how can you become a hero with a power like that? No one wants to be saved by a devil. Izuku stands up and Bakugo flinches, remembering the power of Akuma from long ago. Go ahead, show them all that you're truly a devil, Akuma. Izuku, or Akuma, walks towards Bakugo and lands a punch to his stomach that knocks the blonde to the ground in pain. Shut your mouth. I'll become a hero way better than you. Yeah, right. Izuku then pushes him fully to the ground and walks out of the classroom, going to the roof of the building on his own. As he sits on the rooftop, his phone then begins to ring. It's Terra, the woman who raised him and the foster mother at the orphanage. Izuku, please come quick, as fast as you can to the orphanage. We're in trouble. Before she could even finish, the phone line was cut short. Izuku panics as he runs out of the school, pushing people out of the way to get to the main road, as he then begins his journey back to his home. When he makes it to the orphanage, it's surrounded by police cars, fire trucks, pro heroes, you name it. Everyone was there. Izuku tries to go in, but the adults push him away and tell him it's too dangerous. He then looks around the crowd, and he sees Terra. He walks over to her as she would explain that all of the kids are safe except for one. This is when they all hear the scream. In the window of the orphanage, he could see Zenon, one of the smartest kids there, crying while being held by a slug-like monster. Rage, anger, even hatred filled Izuku's body as he remembered all the good times that the two of them have shared, and he couldn't control himself any longer. His transformation was then present as he speeds into the building, causing all the windows to break just from how fast he was moving. The slug monster was then cut in half, which frees Zenon. You're safe now. I knew you'd come, big brother. Of course I would. Now get out of here as fast as you can. Right. Don't think you're getting away so fast, brat, the slug-like monster would say while trying to grab Zenon. But Izuku jumps in the way, deflecting the sand. Well, deflecting the... I don't know what you'd call it. Well, he deflected the attack with his sword, pushing the monster back, as he then looks at it and sends it out of the building, creating a hole into the street where all the pro heroes could now see it. But before any of them could react, someone would yell out. I am here, the pro hero would say, as he smashes the villain into pieces, causing the jaws of everyone in the area to drop. The number one hero, All Might, lands on the ground, looking back up at the hole in the orphanage to see a demonic boy as well. I see he had an accomplice. Well, don't worry, I'll deal with him too. Izuku looks down and sees All Might rushing up at him, but he's quickly able to block the attack with his sword, taking no damage at all as it was negated. Wait, you're All Might. Ah, so even the villains know my name. That's good. But this is when Izuku releases his power, explaining that he's the one who helped save his little brother in the first place. All Might here would actually congratulate the boy and tell him about UA and becoming a hero. Izuku puts his head down, saying that there's no way for a demon like him to get into that type of prestigious school. However, All Might pushes for the idea, telling him that anyone determined enough can become a proper hero, but they have to train and get the right help first. Izuku takes this to heart, as now his goal is set on the UA entrance exam. I feel like we can just skip ahead to that day. Just know, for the months leading up to the exam, Izuku trained harder than ever, as well as trained in his studies. But I don't want him to interact with Liebe until we're further in this video, so make sure you stay around until then. On the day of the exam, Izuku walks to the entrance of UA, looking at the well-built school. As he was admiring its beauty, someone bumped into his shoulder and walked past him. The blonde turned around and revealed himself as Bakugo, who only chuckled at the thought of Izuku even trying to be here right now. Another thing that I may have forgot to mention was that his name, well, he only had one name, Izuku, not his family name Midoriya, as his mother did this to protect him from All For One at all costs. Izuku continued to walk forward with more confidence than his canon counterpart, and this would lead to him not tripping. He walks and takes a seat once he's inside. Here is where President Mike explains the practical exams to everyone there, and this time, Ida didn't make any comments about Izuku. This version of Izuku was still smart, but just not a hero fanboy like the original. We later got to the part of the exam that had the robots, as President Mike explains the rule and then he's silent. Izuku transforms quickly and then flies over the crowd, confusing them all, but as he was doing so, Bakugo yelled out his nickname, Akuma! This caused all the other contestants or students there to pause and realize that Izuku was some sort of demon. Back with our main character, he flew through the robots, demolishing them with ease, as none of them could stop his blade. His strength far exceeded human limitations, along with his speed and precision, as well as his strategy, which wasn't too far behind at all. Izuku slices through another robot and begins his inner monologue here. Another one down. At this rate, I might even come in the top 5. It seems there are less and less robots over here, so maybe Help! A voice would cry out. Izuku turns his head to see a boy with purple balls on his head. Pause. Who was about to be crushed by falling rocks. Mineta closed his eyes, expecting to die at this very moment. However, all he could see in front of him when he opened them was Izuku, who swung his blade with such force that it not only cut the rocks that were falling down, but sent shockwaves through the whole area. Hey, are you alright? He would hold out his hand and help Mineta up. I know you're trying to go all out, but try to be a little more careful. Izuku then dashed off to find more robots, leaving his peers speechless at what had just happened. Most of the robots at this time were already taken out, and the students were beginning to get tired as well. As Izuku powers down, he noticed that a girl had fallen to the ground as he would jog over. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, it's just a cut. Oh, that's good. Still, let me help you. I'm Izuku. Hi, I'm Uraraka. As the two smile at one another, from behind her, Izuku sees a robot rushing towards them. As fast as he can, he pushes her out of the way, and he takes the full force of the attack, which sends him into a pile of sharp metal. Uraraka looks up in horror to see that Izuku was unconscious and had been impaled. Quickly, she looks around for the robot to try to finish it off that had just attacked them, but As she looks down, it was on the ground and powered off, and it was missing its main power source, because as Izuku was hit, he managed to rip it out just in time. Uraraka then runs over looking at Izuku. "Hey Izuku, stay with me. We're gonna get you help, don't worry. The test is over now, so don't worry about your score either." However, this test was far from over. The ground began to shake, as if an earthquake was happening in this area. This is when the 0-point robot was revealed. Uraraka looked up at Izuku, who, well, he was stuck in their path. "I'll get you out of here with my quirk, don't worry." Izuku's eyes then opened once again. It's okay," a weak voice would say. Save yourself, Uraraka. Don't worry about me." She starts to cry at the thought of leaving someone who just risked his life to save her own. Another student runs by and drags her away by her wrist as she holds out her arm, watching as the 0-point bot's foot got closer and closer to Izuku. In this moment, time itself stood very still. Izuku closed his eyes, cursing his fate. I can't let it end here. What about the orphanage? What about Zenon? I can't let them all down. I have to become a hero. This is my one and only chance. I just need a little bit more power." Izuku then opened his eyes, surprised, waking up in a red room with a black figure that stood in front of him as he was floating. "So, what you need is power. Well, seeing as I can't let you die yet, I'll grant you just that. The real question is, are you ready to sacrifice your own body for this power? I don't care. As long as this power can heal me and give me enough power to defeat my opponent, it doesn't matter. I'll pay the price to live on right now." "As you wish, boy, but the road you walk now will be much harder." The darkness then surrounds the room and covers Izuku's body fully. Time then continues on the outside, and Uraraka watches as the robot's foot completely stomps on Izuku. No! Everyone and everything stood silent as many realized what had just happened. Erupting from the knee of the robot emerged a black figure who soared into the sky, leaving a trail of a black aura. Izuku was in a new form that we have not got to see yet, as more black markings covered his top half, and he now had 2 horns and wings, as a red glow was also present around his body. So, this is the power I gained from giving my body away. Well, I don't know how much time I have, so let's test how much I can do. And this is where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Well, I hope you did enjoy it, as I'm most likely going to start doing more My Hero series on my channel because I've started to enjoy that story a lot more now. If you do want to see a part 2 to this series, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you are new, as this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.